On News 3 New Mexico, Democratic Representative Rashida Tlaib will deliver a response to President Biden's State of the Union next week.
And when is that wind going to calm down? Find out in my full weather forecast.
More than 1,500 U.S. flights were canceled Wednesday. All that and more on News 3 New Mexico.
This is News 3 New Mexico, your local source for news, sports, and first weather.
Welcome to News 3 New Mexico. I am Olayinka Sodunke.
And I am Bradley Wise. Republican Party contenders for Congress and statewide elected office are scheduled to compete for positions on the ballot ahead of the June primary election. A pre-primary convention Saturday is scheduled to bring together local GOP delegates from across the state to meet and listen to candidates. 5 contenders are seeking a Republican nomination to challenge incumbent Democratic Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham, including State Representative Rebecca Dow of Truth or Consequences, Sandoval County Commissioner Jay Block, and former television meteorologist Mark Ranchetti of Albuquerque. The convention will determine who gets on the primary ballot with at least 20% of endorsement votes and who gets top billing with the highest approval. The agency charged with setting up New Mexico's marijuana industry is proposing changes to existing rules less than a month before recreational sales are scheduled to begin. Some who are working on opening new businesses criticized the Cannabis Control Division during a public meeting Tuesday, saying the agency is playing with the rules before the game begins. Division officials have acknowledged the challenge of establishing a new industry in a little over 8 months and said some changes are needed. The division has received more than 800 applications for business licenses across all sectors of the industry.
Now, state oil and gas regulators have issued notice to 2 companies for violating the permit for wastewater injection wells in southeastern New Mexico. The Oil Conservation Division said Tuesday that the civil penalties include more than $2 million against the XTO permit operating for violations at 4 wells and $7,200 for New Bern Oil Company for violations at 1 well. Division officials said the violations undermine the ability to ensure that wastewater disposal wells are properly constructed. The state updated its guidelines last year following an increase in seismic activity in the Permian Basin that was believed to be associated with injection of wells. Now, organizers of Albuquerque's International Balloon Fiesta are seeking a waiver from federal aviation officials, saying a requirement that the aircraft have specific tracking technology could affect the annual event. The Federal Aviation Administration ruled affect most of the airspace above New Mexico's largest city. The agency granted a waiver for last year's fiesta, and event officials tell the Albuquerque Journal they are seeking a similar exemption for this year's 50th anniversary celebration. Balloonists say the rule remain a problem as it prevents passengers from getting expansive view from higher flights and bars pilot from more scenic locations such as the Rio Grande. Now, Payton, tell me, it's going to get warm and the winds are going to get better this weekend.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I don't think that's going to happen. Let's go check it out on my first weather.
Okay.
All right. So, as you can see, everything's pretty cold. You go outside, you're going to feel it. It's really cold outside. If you look towards the north, things are extra cold. 33 in Farmington, 28 in Gallup. Ooh, that's freezing. 30 in Santa Fe, 38 in Albuquerque, 62 in Socorro. I mean, as you go down, it's going to get even colder. Let's switch to our slice of heaven over here in eastern New Mexico. We got 17 in Clayton. Yeah, you're going to want to double up on your socks for that one. 26 in Tucumcari, 25 in Clovis, 26 in Portales. Even in Roswell, where it's usually warm, 37. Now let's go ahead and check out those winds like I was talking about earlier. I'm covering it. Yeah, it's really windy. As you can see, 40, almost 50 miles an hour down here in towards Hatch and a lot of these southern counties right here. Let's go ahead and fast forward that. That's Wednesday at 5, actually. And then it moves over here to us. So, Quay County, Curry County, Roosevelt County, all of that under 20, 30 miles an hour, 30 miles per hour winds. Not looking too great. Kind of calms down, as you can see, Friday, but still, you're going to feel it. Still want to hang on to those car doors. You don't want your car doors blown away. You don't want your hats blown away either. Happened to me before. Not the best. And then Friday at 5, it starts to pick up again. Things aren't looking too great. Let's take a look at that Futurecast radar. So here in Arizona, as you can see, there's a big storm brewing up here, bringing a lot of snow, a lot of moisture, which is good, but it's going to be extra cold out there. Make sure to defrost your sidewalks with some salt tonight, and I'll toss it back to Olayinka and Brad at the desk.
Federal officials have come up with a list of potential replacement names for hundreds of geographic features in 36 states that include the word squaw. U.S. Interior Secretary Deb Haaland in November formally declared the term derogatory and initiated a process to remove the term from use by the federal government and to replace other existing derogatory place names. The list was announced Tuesday to include sites in New Mexico, Arizona, California, and many other states. The agency will host virtual meetings to consult with tribes in March. A task force will prioritize the replacement names and make recommendations to the board on geographic names before it meets later this year.
Now, a former Las Vegas, New Mexico school security guard have pleaded guilty to sexually abusing a female student. The Las Vegas Optic reports that a 53-year-old Abren Lulibari pleaded guilty on Monday to criminal sexual penetration of a minor, 3 counts of false imprisonment, criminal solicitation to commit tampering with evidence and bribery of a witness. The Attorney General announced the agreement commending the 14-year-old victim for coming forward. Las Vegas police initially investigated the allegations, but then the state took over. Investigators say Yulibari and the girl, a student at West Las Vegas Middle School, had a sexual relationship for months in 2019. Yulibari faces up to 10 years in prison. In the same vein, a 59-year-old church pastor and former elementary school teacher from Las Vegas has been arrested in Albuquerque, New Mexico, on a warrant accusing him of sex crimes involving children. The Albuquerque Journal reports that Ronald Crispin was arrested on Saturday and jailed pending an extradition hearing and is transferred in custody to Nevada. Court records in Las Vegas show that he was named in a warrant issued on February the 10th on multiple charges, including sexual assault against children under the ages of 16 and 14. Reports in Las Vegas identify Crepson as a second-grade teacher from 2016 up until this month and a pastor at New Horizon Christian Church.
Police officers in Albuquerque are shifting to a 12-hour schedule to help increase staffing levels on patrol. Police Chief Harold Medina tells Albuquerque TV station KRQE that the vast majority of officers support the 12-hour shift. As of December, the Albuquerque Police Department has 926 officers. The department has had a budgeted goal of 1,140 sworn-in officers since Mayor Tim Keller took office in 2016, when there were 833 officers. The department has 1,000 police officers last year. Keller made it a campaign promise that he would try and hire 100 officers every year of his term. And that is all the news we have for you right now. Make sure you come back after the break for a look at Payton's full weather forecast.
But first, here's a look at the financial market.
Welcome back. Now, as I was saying, things are getting pretty cold outside. The whole state's kind of feeling it right now, but except for those down south. As you can tell, truth or consequences right here. 63, not too bad. Socorro, that's nice and comfortable at 62. Las Cruces here at 67. Currently, not too bad, but the rest of us, we're feeling pretty cold. Zoom in on our little slice of heaven over here. So you can tell, 37 in Roswell. I feel like that's pretty unusual for Roswell right now. 30 in Hobbs, 26 in Portales, 25 in Clovis. I'm feeling it. I feel like everybody else is feeling it. It's really cold outside. Might want to put on those electric blankets tonight. Let's look at our Futurecast and radar. Looking at Thursday, 11:30, 12. Not a whole lot. There's a little bit of action going on up here. You know, not a whole lot going on. A little bit of flurries here and there. Not looking too bad, though. We look on our slice of the world. Pretty dormant, pretty quiet. Not a whole lot of activity going on. Let's check tonight's lows. 9 in Gallup, 9 in Raton, 9 in Clayton. That's pretty cold. 14 in Farmington, 15 in Santa Fe, 23 in Albuquerque in the metropolitan area. Let's check out our part of the world. 22 in Roswell, 16 in Portales, 18 down in Hobbs, 12 in Clovis. Yeah, you're going to want to put on an electric blanket tonight. Bring those pets inside too. You don't want those guys to freeze, our little furry friends. 13 in Tucumcari. It's pretty cold. Tomorrow's highs, not looking too bad. 47 in Silver City, 55 in Las Cruces, 35 in Gallup, 37 in Farmington. Things are warming up, not by a whole lot though. Let's check out our part of the world. We got 49 in Portales, 48 in Clovis, 48 in Tucumcari, 47 in Santa Rosa, 57 down in Hobbs too. The south, things are getting pretty cold. Let's check out that 7-day forecast. 59 Thursday for Carlsbad, 55 Friday, 23 Friday night in Carlsbad, getting extra frigid. 28 Friday night, 25 Saturday night. Oh, Roswell, 58 Thursday, partly cloudy though. 23 Thursday night, gonna get below freezing. Make sure you leave those faucets dripping. 55 on Friday, also partly cloudy. 27 Friday night. Tucumcari, extra windy over there, 49 degrees during the day. At night, 12 degrees, it's getting extra cold. 54 on Friday, so that wind's still there, partly cloudy though. 20 degrees Friday night, gonna want to bundle up there too. And home sweet home, Portales, New Mexico. Extra windy tomorrow on Thursday at 50 degrees, but there's a 3% chance of precipitation, not participation. 16 Thursday night, 18 Friday night. But things start to warm up this weekend, 52, 62. Monday looking like 68. Things are getting better. Let's toss it back to the desk.
I don't know how you define that as things getting better, because it's going to get as low as 16 tomorrow. Even the weekend, it's still going to be the 20s.
Yeah,
that's still cold.
I like to stay optimistic.
Optimistic. Okay. I think that works then.
Cross your fingers.
Cross your fingers.
Definitely. Okay, then we'll be right back after this break. Welcome back. Now, Rashida Tlaib will deliver a response to President Biden's State of the Union next week. It will be on behalf of the far-left group Working Families Party. Tlaib is a Democrat representing Michigan's 13th congressional district, which includes Detroit. This marks the fifth WFP response to a president's address before a joint session of Congress. She said in a statement that she is excited to elevate the voices of working-class residents and, quote, "It should not be this hard to deliver on needs such as healthcare, climate, housing, childcare, safety, voting rights and clean water." Still saying with national news, the Supreme Court is waded into a political clash between the Biden administration and the Republican-led state seeking to defend a signature Trump-era immigration rule that the new administration has abandoned. Conservative and liberal Supreme Court justices acknowledged during argument Wednesday at the High Court that when a new administration comes in, it can change policy. That's what the Biden administration did with the so-called public charge rule, which says green card applicants can't be burdened to the country. The question is not the legality of the new defunct Trump-era rule, just whether a group of states should be able to pick up the legal fight over it.
A winter storm stretching across the country has airlines scratching plans to fly. More than 1,500 U.S. flights were canceled Wednesday, and more than 1,000 flights have already been canceled for Thursday. That's the latest from FlightAware, an aviation tracking website which says American Airlines is taking the biggest hit. The airline expects the storm to have what it calls a significant impact on its operation.
Now, across the Atlantic, Buckingham Palace says Queen Elizabeth II has tested positive for COVID-19 and is experiencing mild cold-like symptoms. The palace said Sunday that the 95-year-old British monarch will continue with light duties. The palace says she will continue to receive medical attention and will follow all the appropriate guidelines. The Queen has received 3 vaccine shots, Both her eldest son, Prince Charles, and her daughter-in-law, Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall, have also recently contracted COVID-19. British longest reigning monarch, the Queen, reached the milestone of 70 years on the throne on the 6th of February. Top UK politicians, including Prime Minister Boris Johnson, quickly issued messages wishing the Queen a speedy recovery.
Ivanka Trump is in discussions with the January 6th Select Committee to voluntarily appear for an interview. A letter addressed to her implies the committee has new details about the then president's actions leading up to and on January 6th. The committee is expected to ask Ivanka Trump about the pressure her father put on Vice President Mike Pence to overturn the election. She is also likely to have her first-hand information about efforts to convince her father to put out a message to ask rioters to leave the Capitol.
Now, that is all the news we have for you for now.
Make sure to come back after the break for sports with Qitana, Sapiga.
Welcome back to News 3 New Mexico. I'm Qitana, Sapiga. Let's get into some sports. In the sports world, the last 2 weekends have been nothing short of entertaining. There was Super Bowl 56 last Sunday, and this past Saturday was NBA All-Star Weekend. The league's best of the best showed up in Cleveland and competed for a donation of $100,000 to a charity of their choice. This year was Team Durant versus Team LeBron. Prior to the game was the annual dunk contest that left fans disappointed. In previous years, the dunk contest was always an event fans, players, and judges looked forward to. However, this year's dunk contest fell short of that. The winner of the challenge was Obi Toppin from the New York Knicks. The winner of the three-point challenge was Karl Anthony Towns from the Minnesota Timberwolves. Speaking of three-pointers, Steph Curry, point guard for the Golden State Warriors, broke the record for most three-pointers made in the All-Star game. He successfully shot 16 three-pointers and had the game high of the night with 50 points. His performance was good enough for him to take home the newly named Kobe Bryant All-Star MVP award. Team LeBron took home the dub as they beat Team Durant 163-160. LeBron secured the win with the game-winning shot. Another highlight of the night was Chris Paul winning the Kobe and Gigi Bryant Advocacy Award. Paul was recognized for his significant contributions to the advancement of girls and women's basketball and advocacy for the WNBA. All in all, it was a fun weekend and it gave the players a nice break from competition. But now we look forward to the end of regular season and playoffs. Greyhound Baseball played Adams State last weekend, a school from the RMAC Conference, and they went 1-1 in the series. Saturday afternoon, the Hounds fell short 10-4. Then Sunday, they battled for 9 innings and won 9-7. Some highlights from the game were Spencer Roach's 2 home runs in the first and fifth inning. Dalton Thatcher picked up his first win of the season as he allowed 1 run and had 2 strikeouts, including the strikeout at the top of the ninth to end the game. Lastly, Eastern posted 4 triples, which is second in program history and is just shy of tying the overall record. The Hounds' next game is this weekend in Lawton, Oklahoma against Cameron University. ENMU women's and men's basketball traveled to Lubbock last night in a doubleheader against nationally ranked Lubbock Christian University. The women's team fought hard through 40 minutes but fell short 73-46. Highlights of the night were Ayanna McCurdy leading the pack with 14 points. Bella Stone was the team's leader with 6 rebounds. She was also the leader with 2 assists. Coach Megan De Los Reyes said, "We continue to fight for 40 minutes on the road tonight against an excellent team. We did a good job limiting Schultz, Burr, and Foster, but LCU's depth showed." On the men's side, the Hounds put up some great numbers but were not able to keep up with the Chaps. After 2 halves, the Hounds fell 53-84. Some notable stats are Jaquan Morris and Adam Hess leading the team with 9 points each. Marvin Mapaga led the team with 7 rebounds, and 4 of the Hounds each recorded 1 steal. Head coach Brent Owen said, "LCU's program is a benchmark for the direction we intend to take ENMU basketball. They're strong, tough, skilled, and unselfish." Both coaches for the women and men's team at Eastern also hope to see a big crowd this Saturday as they close out their regular season against Western New Mexico. It is also Senior Day. Sports anchor Andres will go over the graduating seniors on Friday. To wrap up tonight's sports, I have the official schedule for the 2022 Lone Star Conference football season. This schedule was just released this afternoon and you can find it on lonestarconference.org. But let's take a quick look. Nothing crazy here. As always, the games will alternate between playing at home and playing on the road. The Hounds will open their season at home on September 10th against Midwestern State. Last year's matchup was one of the most competitive games they played. The Hounds pushed the Mustangs into overtime but lost. This year will be redemption year for Coach Hyatt and the Hounds. Something to take note of is there are 3 non-conference teams that will get to face off against Lone Star Conference. First is Central Washington University. The Hounds are familiar with this team as they played each other in last season's home opener. Then there's Western Oregon, who the Hounds have played before. However, that was back in 2019, pre-COVID year. So this upcoming season will be 2 brand new teams going head-to-head on October 22nd. Lastly, the Hounds will play Simon Fraser University from Canada. SFU is in the Great Northwest Athletic Conference, along with Central Washington and Western Oregon. Lastly, you'll see that Wagon Wheel is at West Texas on November 5th, so you can start planning now to make the short trip that weekend. That is all the sports I have for you tonight, but stay tuned and you'll be back at the desk after this break.
Take us through one more time. What's the weather looking like?
Yeah, I'll give you a look at the remainder of our week. So here in Portales, Roosevelt County, we got 39 today. It's really sunny, but it's still pretty cold. Thursday, 58. Things are still warming up, and it's also pretty sunny. And Friday, 54. Things get cloudy, and yeah, things are gonna stay about the same.
Okay, then that makes sense. Probably I'll get out my electric jacket or something.
Yeah, your electric blanket, you'll feel nice.
Get some mittens or something.
Sure, then. Okay, then. Well, that's all the news we have for you tonight. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you for watching News 3 New Mexico. Have a great night.